Closet is full, yet you have nothing to wear? When you go shopping for yourself, do you come home with stuff for everyone but yourself? And are you ready to put yourself first to feel confident in your clothes? If you answered yes to any of those questions, you're going to want to tune into today's Coffee and Confidence show, where we have a special guest talking about how to find confidence in your closet. I'm so excited that you guys are here today. And welcome to the Coffee and Confidence Show. My name is Kelly Carrigan, and I'm your host. I'm an assertiveness coach, and my business is Empower Me Coaching. I'm helping people pleasers worldwide calm the chaos in their life so that they can live life on their terms. You see, I used to be a people pleaser, and I know what you're going through. I know what's happening, and I've been through the ropes. I've learned the skills to help you squash your people-pleasing tendencies so that you can live life on your terms. So welcome to the Coffee and Confidence Show, episode 7. I'm so excited to introduce today's guest, Amanda Hanson. She's a personal stylist, and her business is Simply Stylish, and she's helping women build self-confidence through their wardrobe. So thank you so much. Welcome, Amanda. Thanks for being here today. So please tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Well, thanks, Kelly, for having me. So like Kelly said, my name's Amanda, and I started Simply Stylish last November, and I'm a mom of 2. I have a 17-year-old son and a 6-year-old girl. I live in the St. John, New Brunswick surrounding area. I've never lived anywhere else other than New Brunswick. I love women. I love helping women. I love teaching women. I love interacting with women. My background is in psychology and education, and I left my career probably about 5 years ago. I used to be a clinical supervisor for preschoolers with autism. I did that for about 15 years, and I decided, well, I didn't decide. I got burnt out. And I decided I needed to make a change in my life because I was not happy at work. I wasn't happy at home, and I knew that I couldn't go on like that. So I made a change, and I decided to help my husband in his business for a few years. And it allowed me to work part-time so I could be home with my daughter before she started school. It gave me the flexibility I needed to have in my life at that time. And I also then realized that I'm not an office person. I did not enjoy helping my husband. So I decided I needed to find my passion and my purpose. I didn't know when that was going to happen, but it happened, and I found it.
Oh, that's amazing. I can't wait to get into that and for you to share, your passion, your why, your story, your tips with all the viewers today. So before we get going on that, today every day, it's the Coffee and Confidence Show. So now it's time for What is in Your Cup? So please, if you're tuning in live, please share with us what is in your cup. So today in my cup, I have one of these fun mugs with mother on it from another mug from my son. Last week I had a mug from my son. And today I am drinking a dark roast with palm sugar and cashew milk. So that is what is in my cup. Amanda, what's in your cup?
So I have, what's this called?
A mug?
The type of cup. No. Pottery. Jeez, sorry. Like a handcrafted pottery mug that my mom bought me at a local market where I live, and I have black coffee and coconut oil in mine.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Somebody was telling me about, I don't know if it's called bulletproof coffee or something, but where they take the coffee and a tablespoon or 2 of coconut oil and blend it and froth it up. Have you ever done that?
Yes, but I'm too lazy to froth and do that. So I just add the coconut oil straight in, and I just stir it up really well. And that's how I carry a little container of coconut oil in my purse for when I go elsewhere, because that's the only way I like my coffee now.
That's awesome. I love my coffee in so many different ways. I mean, some people drink their coffee one way only all the time. I'm like switching it up, different sweeteners, different, whiteners, and then sometimes black with, coconut oil and things like that. So I want to take, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, sorry. I was going to say, I like to add Bailey's in mine too sometimes.
Christmas time, there's always plenty of Bailey's. It's always been tradition in our home, like even growing up. For breakfast, you have coffee and Bailey's and chocolate.
I love it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I see we have some viewers online. I'm so glad that you guys are tuning in live. Please reach out, say hi, let us know you're here. Where are you tuning in from? And what's in your cup? We'd love to hear from you. All right. So I would love to know, and for you to share with the viewers, how did you get started in like clothing and becoming a personal stylist?
Well, so like I said, I decided that I didn't like working for my husband anymore. And I was kind of just thinking about what is it that I actually love to do, I'm passionate about, and how can I make a job out of it? So actually, I was going to pursue home decor because I've always loved decorating houses, and I was going to kind of pursue that. But I'm part of a Buy Nothing group. It's a Buy Nothing project. Right. It's an international project, and what it is, it's a hyper-local gifting economy on Facebook. And so I started this group in my town, and one of the members, we have like a wish list Wednesday, and you can just put your wish out there and see if somebody will grant it. And one of the members said, I struggle in my closet. I'm a mom. I'm a small business owner. I don't take any time for myself. I never go shopping. My body's changed. I don't know what looks good on me. I need help putting outfits together in my closet. So I was like, I've always loved doing that. I was always the friend that people would call to take them shopping when they needed for a special event or to update their wardrobe. When I was a kid, I used to love going to Fabricville with my mom, and I would pick out patterns and fabrics for her to make my own clothes. So I'm not a designer. I can't sew, but I just love creating and decorating and finding out what I love to wear and what speaks to me. So I offered to help her. I didn't know her, showed up at her house. We had coffee. We spent 3 hours in her wardrobe. I helped purge her closet of the stuff that doesn't fit her, what doesn't maybe flatter her shape as much as she would want it to. I helped create new outfits from what she already had. And then I created a priority shopping list for her. So I identified, what gaps she was missing in her wardrobe in order to maximize what she already had. And by the end of the session, she was like, I get so much value from this. You need to do this for a living. And I went, okay. So that decision, that okay was it. That was the start of it. But I didn't know my purpose yet. So even though I loved doing it and I got enjoyment from it and I knew I wanted to do it, I didn't discover my purpose until later.
That's really interesting. As I'm listening to you speak, I'm reminded of myself years ago. Anyways, I was hanging on to this bin of clothes for years because I've outgrown it. I had gained weight. It didn't fit me anymore. And then I got pregnant with Jaslyn. I mean, Jaslyn's now 10. I still have it. But I was hanging on to it, as like a motivation to fit back into it. However, thinking back, it's like, okay, if I did fit back into it, probably totally out of style anyways. But I did. I finally let go of it and gave it to a friend of mine who was much smaller than me, and she was so thankful. But have you ever ran into that? Where
oh my God, all the time. And I'll get to that. That's actually part of my tip. But that's a big one. Big one.
Yeah. So I have this question written down, like, where was the need for a stylist? What were you finding? Like, what were a lot of women asking for? What were they looking for?
So most of the women that I work with, they're most of them are moms, and they're working professionals. So what ended up happening was they had one lifestyle, right? They were single, or maybe it was just them and their husband. They had time to shop. Their body was the same body for the most part that they had had for years. They knew what looked good, what felt good. They knew what their lifestyle was and knew how to appropriately dress for it. And they had time to think about it. But then their lives change. They get pregnant, they have babies, they're starting to grow their family, and then they're still working on top of it. And then what ends up happening as natural caregivers, we give all of ourselves to everybody else. And we end up putting ourselves last on the list. Or our bodies have changed. And kind of like you said, you're holding on to this old... Do you still have me?
Yeah, you just lagged there for a second.
Oh, okay.
So you were saying how they moms put themselves last. You were just so elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah. So they, they're giving themselves to their husbands, their families, their careers. Mm-hmm. And if they do have time to go shopping, they're shopping for their children, not for themselves. And that could be because they just don't have time. And yeah, it's a pain in the butt to go shopping for yourselves when you have your kids with you. Or you don't make time to go shopping because you feel guilty that you're spending time on yourself. You feel guilty that you're spending money on yourself. And then there's, your whole body changing. And some women, depending on, weight gain, they're trying to hide it instead of embracing it. And their clothes just become functional. It doesn't become a part of who they are and expressing who they are or dressing for themselves. So those are the things that I was finding a lot with the people who were reaching out to me. I have actually quite a bit of moms who are going back to work that mm-hmm. hire me while they're on their mat leave and they're finishing up. They're like, you know what? My clothes don't fit me anymore. I want to, when I go back to work, I want to make sure I'm feeling great, because there's already probably stress mm-hmm. leaving their kids, separating from their kids maybe for the first time, and that, they want to make the transition a positive one as possible. And they recognize that when they're dressing for themselves, it changes their energy and it changes how they feel about themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And you bring up an interesting point, like even for, my clients and the people that I help, people pleasers, right? People pleasers tend to feel guilty when they put themselves first. And I hear this quite often in workshops that I do. Well, when I do go shopping for myself, like, I get so overwhelmed, I don't know what to buy. So then I just come home with stuff for everybody else. And mm-hmm. then I don't have anything for myself, right? And then essentially what that does is that actually lowers a person's self-esteem, because then they feel down. Well, oh gosh, I can't even find anything for myself.
Yeah. And a lot of times they're blaming themselves, not the clothing. Because what I help my clients with during a shopping session is I teach them where they should be shopping. Mm-hmm. And I teach them what kind of clothes best flatter their body, or that they feel good in, or that represents their own personality style. Mm-hmm. And if they don't have that information and they walk into a store, it's so overwhelming. Or they see something. What I often hear is, I see it on the mannequin, or I see it on a friend. And I like it, so I'm going to put it on myself. And they put it on, they're like, oh, this isn't working. And then they actually internalize it and they blame themselves. Oh, I'm too fat, or it doesn't fit me properly, but really in the grand scheme of things, it's the retailer's fault, because not all clothes are made for every body shape. And depending on where you shop, they cut corners to make it cheaper. And then it usually is like boxy clothes that's not made for a woman's shape. So that's something I help my clients overcome.
Oh, that sounds amazing. We have a couple people that have said good morning to us. So I definitely want to acknowledge the people that are online. So I'm just going to take a minute to do that, Amanda. Mm-hmm. So Amy Daigle says, good morning from Damascus. I'm drinking coffee with flavored cream. Well, thank you so much for being here, Amy, and enjoy your coffee. Dawn Clemens Kennedy says, I'm tuning in from Labrador City. That's my hometown, and I do know Dawn. She's waiting for her hubby to bring her a cafe mocha. He's picking it up for me. Oh, lucky.
Nice.
And Penny says, good morning. Medium roast latte with froth it unsweetened, better, half coconut cream almond beverage topped with sprinkled cinnamon and turmeric. Wow, that sounds really fancy, Penny.
Love it.
Yeah. And Penny is tuning in from Carrigan Place, Ontario. Welcome, Penny. Thank you for being here. And then Dawn says, so true. I buy clothes for my daughter all the time, but feel guilty when I spend money on myself. Yes. Well, hopefully after watching this show, Dawn, you're going to feel a little less guilty about spending money on yourself when you go out to purchase some clothes. So thanks for tuning in, ladies. So please, Amanda, share some tips with everybody on, how to put yourself first, how to love yourself.
Right. So when I kind of decided that, clothing and style and personal styling was my path, I made that decision, but along the path, I needed to dig down deeper and really, and I love helping people and teaching people, but I always like to look at the why. And so I try and figure out, why are women struggling with this so much? And, for one of the reasons is, they put themselves last, they feel guilty taking time for themselves or spending money on themselves. And the other big issue that I'm running up against is body positivity. So to me, that's, my larger purpose is that I hope someday that women don't care about the number on the scale. I want them to not define their self-worth by the size of their clothing or the size of their body. I don't want women to be comparing themselves to others and finding themselves less than. So I want to throw my voice in there and tell women that they're all worthy of love, of giving themselves attention. And really, if you are feeding yourself, and I don't mean food. I mean, though that goes into it. But if you are surrounding yourself with things that make you feel good, and it changes your energy, right? So, and clothes come into that. So if you're wearing something that you feel amazing in, no matter your size, it changes your energy, and you're spending less time in negative energy, and people notice that. And that's where the whole confidence thing comes in, right? I have a lot of clients who are like, well, I don't want to wear that because I feel too dressy or I'm too uncomfortable. That's a self-confidence thing, right? If you are just dressing for yourself and what makes you feel good, you're not caring what other people are thinking, right? And what people are actually going to notice is that you look and feel good, and they're going to be like, damn girl, you're rocking it today. And that can have a really positive effect on you. So kind of that's my purpose, is to help women in the way they think about themselves and their body, and, putting themselves first. And it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If anything, studies have shown that our children and how they view their own body image, they learn that from their moms. So
very powerful.
Yeah. So when women are getting on the scale all the time, or they're frowning, or they're saying negative things about their body, or they're ignoring themselves, your kids are learning this. So think about it this way. What is it that you want to teach your kids? What do you want them to when they grow up? Do you want them to put themselves first? Do you want them to engage in things that make them feel good? Do you want them to become obsessed with a number on a scale or comparing themselves to others? So when you think about it that way, it's like, okay, no, I don't want that for my kids. So I need to treat myself good first, because you're modeling for your children. So,
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, you made an interesting point just a minute ago about, energy, right? So when you're feeling good and you're feeling confident in your clothes, you're emitting this positive energy without actually saying anything. And I've felt this myself. I've kind of put it to a social experiment, right? So when we're feeling like meh, right, we tend to dress like meh. And when we go out, our energy is meh. And that's what we get back, right?
Absolutely.
There's this beautiful winter coat that I have, and it's quite fancy. I'm generally not overly a fancy person. However, when I wear this and I go out, I feel really confident in it. I just love it. My energy changes. And not that I think, oh, look at me, I'm better than everybody. But it's just, you know what? I love this coat. And I can see that people feel that energy because people will acknowledge, right? And
it's not about being fancy. It's about wearing what makes you feel amazing. And that's what I want for every woman. So like my big goal is for women to love everything in their closet, because a lot of them have a closet full of clothes, but they only wear about 20%. And I want women to wear more. I want to save them time and money in the long run. And I can do that by teaching them how to get clothes in their wardrobe that they love, everything in it. And those things that make them feel amazing, wear those more. That fancy coat, wear it more.
Yeah, not in this heat.
So some of my tips to learning how to love yourself more and to love your body more is by saying like positive affirmations to yourself every day. And so some stuff that I like to say to myself, especially if I'm having a bad day or a bad body positive or a bad self-image day, I say, my body deserves love and respect. And I love my body as it is today. I get to define my worth. It is not based on my size. Right. And I am beautiful. So these are things that I say to myself if I'm having a bad day, or if any woman is struggling with their body image and accepting their body, say this stuff to you every day. And I know it might sound silly and you may not believe it at first, but the more you say it and you're saying these positive things to yourself, it's going to get in the way of the negative things.
Because it's top of mind, right? It's top of mind, and you're going to start to believe it. Like at first, I even use affirmations with my clients and they're like, oh, but it feels fake. Yeah, but that's the whole point of it, right? So what's going to start happening is that, at first it might feel a little fake saying it, but then as you start saying it more, you're going to have to start living your life that's in line with what you're thinking and what you're saying. So Absolutely. Your actions are going to start to meet, your mindset and what you're saying.
Yeah. And when you're saying negative things to yourself, you're going to believe it.
Yep.
So that's one thing that I recommend. The other one is doing mirror work. And what that is, it's standing in front of the mirror. It could be naked. It could be just in your underwear and your bra, and looking at those parts of your body that you feel like is imperfect. I don't believe there's anything that's imperfect about us, but we tend to believe that there is. And send love and compassion to those body parts, and just focusing on sending positivity to those parts. I know it sounds a little woo-woo, but again, it's that positive mindset. And it's also a matter of getting just used to seeing yourself, getting used to seeing yourself in the mirror. And it's not as much of a shock, because we tend to hide from pictures, from mirrors, because maybe we're not happy with what we're seeing. But the more you see yourself, the more used to you get and accepting it. So that's another tip. Another one is, listing how your body is a tool, right? It's more than just its size. It's a tool. Like my body, it's given birth to 2 children. It's run 10K races. It allows me to kiss my kids' boo-boos. It allows me to dance in my kitchen, right? Like I want women to think about, your body is a tool. It's not there to be against you.
Right.
So, think about the positive things that your body can do for you. And the other thing is I kind of already talked about this, but replacing the energy you spend trying to hide a certain body part, whether it's your waist, or maybe I know I have a lot of women who are self-conscious of their arms, or maybe their white legs, or the varicose veins. For me, it was a giant birthmark. I had put so much energy into hiding it and being always self-conscious of it. I was always creating this negative space for myself. But if you start, if you just accept it and embrace it and show it, you've like released that. You're not thinking about it anymore. And then you can use that energy for other things during your day.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that.
Yeah. And so the other thing is, we kind of touch on this, is wearing what you love. And I know it sounds like common sense, but if you have a dress or a necklace that is in your closet or in your wardrobe, and when you feel it, you feel amazing in it, but maybe you only save it for special occasions, don't. It's like having the fine china and only using it maybe once a year. You know, it's pretty, it's beautiful. You feel good when you're using that china. The same thing kind of is with your clothes. You know, wear that beautiful necklace more. You don't have to wait for a special occasion because it doesn't matter. You're dressing for yourself, not anybody else. The other thing is shop for clothes that you love and need. So
explain that one.
Yeah. So I help my clients create a list, right? When we go grocery shopping, most women or men go with a shopping list. They don't just go into a grocery store and randomly grab ingredients that sound or smell good in hopes that they get home and put it all together and it creates this wonderful dish. We don't do that. Or maybe some people do, and I'm very curious of your success rate with that. But it's kind of the same thing when we go shopping with our clothes. We go with intention and purpose. So it's only really identifying the things that we really need in our wardrobe. And yes, I mean, it can be fun to find that pretty piece that makes us feel amazing. And again, that's the love part. If you love it, awesome, get it. But what women tend to do is we only shop the sales racks. And then and I love a good sale, like don't get me wrong. But we've limited ourselves because we've only limited ourselves to what's available on the sales rack. And you could be passing by that perfect jean that you really need in your closet because you don't want to pay full price for it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What if you find like the perfect pair of pants and they're like $200?
So
what would you?
So I'll give you my answer.
Okay.
I mean, it really depends on people's budgets, of course. Not everybody can afford to spend $200 at once. But how I like to see it is I would rather you have one pair of jeans that you love than 10 pair that you don't love. And chances are those 10 pair, if you add all the price together, equals that $200. I believe in quality over quantity. I only own 4 pair of jeans and I love them all. And I'm a jeans girl. I love jeans. So I'm okay with investing in my jeans because what's important to me is feeling comfortable, having those jeans last so I don't have to replace them the next year. So the jeans that I have, they've lasted years. They still look brand new because I've invested money. And it was a shock to me at first, the amount of money I paid for my first pair of really good jeans. I never would have done that before, but I didn't. I put them away at first and I came home and I'm like, I need new jeans and I love jeans and I love these ones. I felt amazing in them. I felt comfortable in them. I'm buying the jeans and I haven't regretted that decision at all because I wear them all the time and they still look brand new because I chose to invest in them. But that's not the case for everybody. But I do recommend people, you know, it's okay to invest in yourself. And I'd rather you buy intentional pieces that you love and are good quality instead of buying and having to replace your clothes every year because they're not good quality and they don't last, right? Or if you're just shopping the sales rack, you're probably buying stuff you don't need just because it's on sale. And then you end up with this wardrobe full of stuff that you don't really love and that you're not wearing.
As you were speaking, I was brought back to when I was like a teenager and I traveled to France. And so I was doing like a 3-day tour of Paris, and the lady who was our tour guide, she wore the same outfit 3 days in a row. And as you know, kids from Canada were like, oh my gosh, she's wearing the same outfit again. Right. So, and I've heard it too, like in our culture, it's like, oh, can't wear the same thing 2 days in a row. Or once you post a picture and this outfit on Facebook, you can't wear it out again in public. Or
I think the difference is we have a lot of fast fashion surrounding us. And so fast fashion that means they're producing new product every 2 weeks in hopes to get people always coming in and buying and buying and buying. And those clothes, the quality is not there, so they're not lasting. So people are going in and buying and buying and buying. And it's almost created this culture of this is what we have to do. This is what we need to do. We can't wear the same things over and over. And it's some messaging that we're getting through marketing, right? And they're playing on our emotions and it's working. So I encourage women. Yeah. Like I'm not a minimalist per se, like a true minimalist. because I really like variety.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do is I'm very intentional with my wardrobe. So I won't buy anything unless I can style it 3 ways.
Okay.
So it's very rare I will buy something that I can't use more than 1 way, because I want to get the most of my wardrobe. And again, I'm very intentional with what I pick and what I spend my money on and what I invest in.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. I know I interrupted you on your tips, but I was just like, I just thought that was interesting. Yeah.
It's I own 4 white t-shirts. It's not because I want to buy all the white t-shirts, but they stain and whatever. But I use white t-shirts all the time with all of my clothes. I can dress it up. I can dress it down. It's a wardrobe staple for me, and it's something I will always buy, but I choose not to invest a lot of money in my white t-shirts. So that is something. So when I choose not to invest a lot in my white t-shirts, I can then save my money and invest in something else that I want to, get longevity from, like jeans. And so my last tip is purging the clutter. So it kind of goes with what you mentioned about yourself, Kelly, is that you had held on to these clothes that didn't fit you. Some women use it as motivation, but I challenge that. I don't believe it's true motivation. I feel like it's them shaming themselves or trying to guilt themselves or punish themselves for not being that size. And I don't believe it's true motivation, because I feel like when they're looking at those clothes, even if it's for a split second, it's that negative thought in your head, well, I'm not there yet. Or I only deserve happiness or getting clothes that I love when I'm that size. That's not okay. That's not motivation. That's negative self-talk is what that is. So I encourage women, get rid of the clothes that don't fit you. Like, fit is the most important thing. If you've just had a baby and you're not sure if you're going to go back to your original size, if it's more than 2 sizes difference, I suggest just get rid of it, because probably by the time you get there, you're not going to want the clothes anyway. But if it's a size difference, then just pack them away, store them away, but take them out of your closet, because your closet is prime real estate and it should only be filled with the things that fit you and that you love.
Yeah, that's great advice. You're going to make me want to go through my closet now once we're done. Well, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and sharing the tips with everybody today. So how can people get in touch with you? How can people reach out to you?
So I can share my Facebook business page. I can share that link on this thread. I also have a website. It's simplySTYLISH.ca. I have an Instagram account that I'm very active on. And so I work one-on-one with women. So I work in person. So I help them either in their wardrobe or I help them shopping, but then I've also have a virtual wardrobe session. So it means that I can help you in your closet no matter where you live. As long as you have a device with a camera and an internet connection, I can help you in your own wardrobe. So I do have a virtual styling session as well.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, so I welcome everybody who's tuning in to, add Amanda as a friend on Facebook. Definitely check out Facebook page, Instagram, and her website. And if you're interested in a personal styling session, Amanda knows her stuff, so she's your girl. Before we get going, there's a couple more comments that I want to acknowledge. So Penny Lynn, talking about her fancy coffee, we're like, oh, that sounds complicated. She's like, no, it isn't. It's simple, made at home every morning. That sounds like a really interesting coffee, Penny. And Cara Dawn says, hi, ladies. Good morning. Good morning, Cara Dawn. Thank you so much for tuning in. And there's another comment here from Cara Dawn. She says, I do find it's challenging to find quality clothing, especially fabrics. Seems so disposable. Do you have any suggestions on how or where to find quality pieces efficiently?
So I recommend, if you have local boutiques in your area, I suggest check out local boutiques, because they tend to be, they're not fast fashion. They're small business owners, and they tend to pick clothes that they might be a little bit of a higher price point than saying going into Old Navy, but those are the good quality pieces. A lot of them are Canadian made. Some of them might be maybe made in China, but they're designed by a Canadian clothing designer. So my first recommendation is go to boutiques if you have them. That's honestly where I mostly shop, is local boutiques. But there are some stores that you would find in a regular mall that I like to shop at. And so like Samuel & Co. is a big one for me. Even RW, I really like RW, and they've really stepped up their game lately with the types of clothes that they're providing. There's a lot of casual, business casual, professional. And I stay away from fast fashion stores like Old Navy, Gap, Walmart. Again, there's nothing wrong with shopping there, and your budget might only allow that. Even going to secondhand stores, I do a lot of thrift shopping, and so I can find good quality pieces secondhand and save money.
Mm-hmm. So when you're going thrift shopping, how do you know it's good quality? Like, do you look at the name brand, or do you go by feel of the quality, like the fabric?
Part of it is name brand, and just, I mean, I don't know all the clothing name brands, and honestly, it doesn't really matter to me, the actual name, but I mean, there's some that I know that I really like, but it's about the feel of the fabric and the cut of it. So again, it also depends on your body shape. Some body shapes, you should be looking at clothing where it comes into the arm, like right here. You should be looking for like a curved, more fitted top. Depending on your body shape, you want more of a straight, maybe top or blazer. So I look at the cut of things. It's by fabric. I look at how sewn on is the button, or are there like random strings peeking out? Like, those are a few hints that it's probably cheaply made. But a lot of it is just is some knowledge and experience, because I shop for a living.
Yeah. I'm thinking, an hour or two shopping with you would be very beneficial, and a person would learn a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm, definitely. Oh, well, that's awesome. So once we're done our call, Amanda, I welcome you to leave all of your links to your pages in the comments below, so that people, can just click and connect with you directly. So thank you again for being a guest on the Coffee and Confidence Show.
Thank you so much for having me, Kelly.
Yeah. So I want to let everybody know that if you've enjoyed the Coffee and Confidence Show today, I also have a private Facebook group called the Coffee and Confidence. So you are welcome to join in that community. So I share tips and videos, and we've got a really good community, really good supportive community going on there. So I will also leave that link in the comments once we are done. And the Coffee and Confidence Show is every Thursday morning. Next week, I have guest Kira Lonnie, and she's a spiritual guru. She has lots of different certifications, and we're going to be talking about how to trust yourself. So that'll be next Thursday morning, and I will put the word out early next week so you guys can schedule that in. So thank you so much for tuning in to episode 7 of the Coffee and Confidence. I look forward to serving you, and thanks again, Amanda. We'll see everybody later.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.